So I have finally seen Zack Snyder's Justice League. Quick mention and shout out to all my shift managers who've given me the means to watch it. Thank you, Sally. But if you see my last video, you'll know how much I absolutely despise the Whedon cut in its entirety. And having seen the Snyder cut, I can confirm it's not perfect, but it is as close to a masterpiece as you can possibly get. Gone and consigned to the film history bin is the light-hearted nonsense we saw in 2017. In its place is a film that is still tonally dark, but has a lot of action, energy, emotion, tear-jerkiness, if that's such a word, and just a hell of a lot of fun. 2017 gave us a Justice League lineup with cliches and no development. Here, all 6 members of Justice League have their own arcs, their own personalities, their own development, and at the end, you do feel as though they have grown together. You'll also recall from my last video on how I complained about how Steppenwolf was one of the blandest, generic bad guys in the history of comic book films. Not the case here, yet again. Steppenwolf is legitimately threatening, he has a superb motive and backstory, and you just feel chills going down your spine every time you see him. His battle with the Amazonians for the first Mother Box is visually spectacular. You're seeing the bare minimum of his raw power, and it feels so much more threatening than what we saw in Whedon's cut. He remains legitimately threatening throughout the entire film, even in the scenes where he explains his backstory, and his defeat is worthy of the villain, not just him, "Oh, I'm running away!" My god, after the awful way the Amazonians were butchered in the Whedon cut, it's amazing to see the Snyder cut do them absolute justice. We'll start off with the costume. For comparison, let's see what they look like in Wonder Woman. Now let's see what they look like in the Snyder cut. And let's see what they look like in the Whedon cut. Zack Snyder may be flawed, but you can't deny the attention to detail he has for his films. And speaking of the Amazonians, my god, it is amazing to see them done properly. Let's face it, any Hans Zimmer soundtrack is always going to be amazing. Here, it's really taken up a notch. A lot of the individual themes have been taken from Snyder's previous DC films, but here, they're mixed in beautifully. They don't sound forced. And considering it was Rupert Gregson-Williams who came up with the theme for Wonder Woman, you can't deny it's something special here. And Wonder Woman's new theme? Not a patch on the original version, as in from 2016-2017, but here, it's something special. Now, a lot of people have picked on Ezra Miller for his portrayal of Flash in the Whedon cut. Here, I don't think it was that bad. He's got a superb character arc of wanting to try and help his father, but also trying to move on with his own life. His first scene, where he managed to save a woman from being run over and then make it back inside the pet shop and look like as though his first instinct was to protect the dogs, was really nicely done. People will criticise the slow motion used for when he's using his Flash powers, but I didn't see any issue with it. And if you still had an issue with it at the end, the way he manages to save the day, I have no words for you. Obviously, a big talking point of the trailer was the surprise inclusion of Jared Leto. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of him in Suicide Squad. His scene towards the end, that was really nicely done. That legitimately felt like the Joker. Not a patch on Joaquin Phoenix or Heath Ledger, but it's enough for me to give him another chance for when I eventually see the Suicide Squad later this year. Obviously, I summed up my overall views of the film at the start, so I think I'll finish with what I hope for the future. It's a shame Snyder's not going to get the chance to finish his vision, so I sincerely hope DC and Warner Brothers change their mind. Snyder's not a perfect filmmaker, but he does have a vision, and I really hope he gets to complete that vision. If you get the chance, skip the Whedon cut, go straight to the Snyder cut.